I love that in this IFS non-dual community, we have over 1,200 people now, and just this idea that we get to celebrate how this is moving in each of us that are here, and just that there's not a certain way, that whatever this non-duality is, right? And then as we in this IFS that we love, how it comes together, and that I'm just really excited about what's going to happen today with our three friends that we are going to get to celebrate how it moves in them.
That is right. Sid and I felt that we'd sort of did our due by setting the group up and sharing as much as we could. And obviously we'll keep adding to it, but it's so much more to hear from you, to others, but because there are as many ways to self as there are beings and parts. There are multiple pathways up the mountain. It shows up in very different ways. And however that shows up for you, there isn't the one right way. Mm-hmm. So this is why we want to celebrate everyone who is here with their unique parts.
I have been personally deeply touched by our three friends today who are sharing, from Ray, Guthrie, and Maria. And I'm excited about that. And I personally, I'm really looking forward to what they'll be getting to know them better through this today.
Right. So as per usual, Sid and I haven't planned this. We haven't planned what we're going to say. We haven't planned. It's just, we're just letting it flow. Being filled with self, being filled with trust. And so we have no idea what's going to be said. And that is the magic, and that is this kind of beauty of living in self, as self, through self, shining as the self.
So we have, oh, sorry.
Right. How do you want to run this? Got three.
We have three, and I kind of have a tentative lineup of Guthrie starting first today because he has a family commitment, and then to Ray, and then Maria. And my thought is to have kind of each of them just kind of tick over for 15, 20 minutes, and however they would like to best share and celebrate how this is moving in them. And it might be through interactions, and it might be just taking us on a journey. And then we'll have time. We'll have up to an hour and a half today, and we'll have time at the end as well where we can do questions and answers and dialogues, but we can do it within each of your sharings if you'd like. And my thought is just that I'd like to do like a brief intro, just kind of reading what we kind of wrote on the flyer about each of our friends as we hand the mic over to them. How does that sound to you, Laura?
Perfect.
And but before we do that, then anything from our community, because this is about all of us. Anything anyone would like to say before we dive in? And just to notice that as I look at all of us on the screen, and just invite us all to notice that we're not alone, that there is this connectedness, this shared being that we're celebrating today. And that, thank you. Including the puppy, this shared being that perhaps we can go on this journey together, led by our three friends. And so I'll start off. Laura, should we go ahead and hand it over to introduce Guthrie? Anything else?
Yeah, so just my invitation is that we listen with soft heart. And if we can really be aware if any parts surface, and then try and expand into the soft heart. So for anyone who's joined, welcome, welcome. Would you be willing to mute your mics? That would be really helpful. Okay, great.
Great.
So over, Sid.
All right. And there were a number of requests from people who were unable to make it today. And so we are recording this, and we'll put a recording on the IFS Nondual community of what we're doing today. And so I'd like to introduce you all to my friend Guthrie. And in that, I'm going to read, I wrote this little 3-line bio of his, and he's laughing. And I especially love the first line. Guthrie radiates and modulates frequencies to help others find and know flavors of our non-dual home. Isn't that lovely? And Patty, who knows him well, is nodding. Yes, because there's really like a precious opportunity here with our friend Guthrie. It goes much deeper than the words. See what you can find. And just a little bit more. And Guthrie has a PhD, deep background in IFS. He's trained over 1,000 coaches through sponsored by the IFS Institute, and he leads trainings around the planet. And these are my words again, to bring self energy and Christ consciousness to the planet. Guthrie.
Wow, Sid. I have to take a moment just to let my system digest the love, which is one of Sid's signatures. As I look around the room, I can see many strands of my life coming together. So Percy, now Ray, the last time I saw you was at the IFS conference in Denver, the last one before COVID shutdown. And I just remember, I can still recall in my system how good it felt to be in your presence and to enjoy you. And I'm indebted to the model that you and Kate created on dealing with parts that carry bias. It's been very helpful to me, personally and professionally. So I'm glad we're reconnecting. Kidan, I did not expect to see you here. Kidan, like me, is in Connecticut, and she is on the staff of 2 programs I've created, Coaching with Spirit and Coaching with IFS. And so that thread is coming together here. And Patty, I know through Perfectly Okay, which has become one of the most important communities in my life. And Patty and I haven't known each other long, but we've gotten very close. And I love Patty, and I love being with her. And Sid and I connected through Perfectly Okay too, POK. And one of my deep learnings from Sid, which I continue to learn from him, is his radical trust in what's arising right now. I am reading Thomas Hubel's latest book, Attuned, which I recommend to all. And it gives language to things that we may have all realized, but we couldn't really express. And for me, the heart of the book is about when we sit down with another person or we gather with a group, and when we have to use IFS terms, a critical mass of self, we become more coherent. And the more access we gain to self, the more access we will gain to self, because coherence feeds on itself. And as you sit with another person, their system begins to attune to yours, just as yours attunes to them. And so you can begin to naturally amplify that sense of coherence. And as that sense of coherence amplifies, the filters between us begin to drop away.
And I'm a grateful member of the peer support community. And I'm coming here completely frustrated.
Yeah. Well, the filters that separate us, those filters that of the personality, you might say, begin to drop away, and there's this incredible intimacy. It's amazing. There's safety and intimacy as our system begins to calm and self-organize at a higher level. And it's a relational process. And how this relates to Sid, in my experience of Sid, he said he really trusts that is happening. And as two people or a group is together, and as they begin to cooperate with this self-organizing coherence, they're creating a relational field that is greater than the sum of all the people present. So I want to make that clear. If you and I are sitting together, the intersubjective space, the relational field that we begin to generate, is greater than you plus me. And here's what I love about Sid. He trusts that space like we trust gravity. And he attunes to what wants to emerge without agenda. And that's where the magic of transformation, that's where the magic of healing and awakening happens. It happens in that emergent space. In other words, we're allowing the future to emerge right here. So I wonder if we might, Sid wrote that first line in his description of me. I'm wondering if it might be a good idea for me to kind of take us through Sid is giving me the thumbs up. Okay. So I'm going to take you on a little ride if you'd like to come. It's all voluntary. So I invite you to find a meditation posture. In other words, just finding your seat and allowing your body to find a position that feels alert and at ease. And noticing the effect of gravity on your body, and perhaps surrendering to gravity's embrace, letting yourself land a little bit more in your body. Eyes can be opened or closed. And letting yourself settle here. Notice your hearing. So there's the sound of my voice. There may be some more distant sounds, traffic, background hum of an appliance. Seeing if you can notice maybe even a distant sound. And what you might notice is that these sensory impressions, these sounds, arise in a field of awareness. And that field of awareness, with just barely even an intention, extends well beyond the most distant sound. So beginning to notice that we are surrounded on all sides by a field of awareness. And that sensory impressions, sounds, images, thoughts even, may arise, but the field of awareness remains. Impressions arise, change, pass away. That field of awareness remains. And beginning to notice that field of awareness is itself is quiet, that it is spacious, and that as you let that field of awareness stretch as far as it wants to go, as far as feels safe to you, it can go quite far. It can encompass the solar system, the galaxy. And so taking a moment to rest in this field of awareness, it is stable, unchanging, yet alive and containing everything. Enjoying the spaciousness of awake awareness. And now, by forming just the slightest of intentions, allow that field of awareness to be suffused with joy. Let joy pervade everything. It's both inside and outside. There is an all-pervading joy. And simply allowing, that's all you have to do, is just allow the joy to become full. Begin to experience the fullness of that joy. This joy may be tinged with love and compassion. Whatever it is for you, allow it to become fuller and fuller. As if you were radiating joy, love, and compassion everywhere. Feeling the fullness, almost the thickness of what may appear to some of you as divine joy, divine love. You may even feel a sensation in your heart as it opens and radiates. And staying here if you wish, or allowing yourself to begin to sink into deep stillness. You may feel your body getting heavier as you submerge yourself in stillness. Visually, it may seem like things are darker. And the stillness may be something that you feel like you're dropping down into. Dropping deeper and deeper. Into perfect stillness. It's as if you're dropping down through the universe into the universe. Into deep. Stillness. And staying here if you choose, or allowing yourself to drop through the stillness into a place that might begin to show up as clear space, opening into a new clarity that has a subtle form of fullness. There's both spaciousness and subtle fullness. The emotional tone is subtle. This is a place of clarity, with the possibility of connection. and with patience. At your pace. You might experiment with joining the group. From here. What's it like to be here? And in this circle of learning and love. It might be interesting, though it might take a moment to do it, to hear what that journey was like for a few people. And I invite you, if you choose to speak, just to unmute. And without going to your head, just speak from presence. Pamela had the wherewithal to raise her hand electronically.
Hey, yeah, so I was actually putting laundry from the washer to the dryer when, when it started, and I felt something kind of coming up in my abdomen, some, like kind of like from in the Vipassana meditation, the samskara energy coming up, and it was really strong. And I abandoned the laundry and came back and just, let it go. And it felt like, I don't know, I just feel like there was sort of space somehow made for this to come up. And I just stayed with it. And it felt in the end like an infant who just wanted to be held. So I just held it. And in that spacious, joyous space. So that was my experience. And I thank you for it.
You're welcome, Pamela. Thank you. Anyone else? Katie.
Hi. I love just starting with the awareness of like the different sounds. They have different parts that are very more sensitive to sounds, and it was this insight of like it's always there. Even if I'm not consciously aware of it, there's some part of me that's really attuned with the awareness. And when you reach the joy part, I was like, my face scrunched all up, and I was like, no, not joy. And then a lot of fear showed up, a lot of fear. Some sadness that there was fear with that, but then there was this like, what are we afraid of? And it's like, well, if we feel joy, it'll get taken away. But then like the juxtaposition of that awareness piece with the joy is like, no, it's always there. It's always there. Maybe at a frequency I'm not attuned with yet, but like there's so many frequencies we're not consciously aware of, and that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And there was this possibility that, just like the metaphor that I've used with some of my parts, especially when they feel disconnected from self, is one, I think it's probably from Indiana Jones or something similar, where you're like standing at the edge of a chasm and you want to get from point A to point B, but there's no feasible way to get from point A to point B, because it's like such a gulf of vast emptiness and like death underneath you, right? And it's a sense of like, we don't have to build bridges to parts. The bridge is always there. It's just like invisible. We can't always see it. And we have to have that faith to like step out into this like ether of emptiness and what feels like certain death, and go, oh, here's the bridge. It's been here the whole time. And so I think expanding that to joy also opens up possibility to maybe start heading towards it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Katie. I love the way you brought parts into this. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, Dave.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dave. I live in San Francisco, California. It's my first time checking in with the group, so I'm really glad to be here. Thanks, Sid and Laura and others for doing all you do. Well, it was a beautiful meditation, and it was. I was super triggered, blended, however you say it, yesterday. I had a really rough day. I was feeling very lost and lonely, and did some good work and kind of reset myself. But then to have the experience this morning of really beautiful, joyful, infinite, boundless awareness was exactly the sort of tonic that I needed. That reminder of like even as my consciousness gets really turbulent and gets mixed up with old parts and ouchy parts, but there is still this possibility of settling, stilling, and noticing what's really happening underneath, around everything. So yeah, it was really, thank you, very exactly why I wanted to come this morning.
You're welcome, Dave.
Guthrie, thank you. Thank you so much. It's crazy that it's like a triple feature movie today, because what you just shared with us, Guthrie, it's almost like that we should end here. I'm so full from that, and I'm just looking at the other faces. I can feel that. And anything you'd like to share in closure? You've taken us on such an incredible ride today.
What I'd like to say in closing is that classic IFS has been very good at exploring the multiplicity of parts. These are really fragments. And they carry burdens. What Sid is doing, and Laura with Effortless IFS, I believe, this might be my projection, is what I'm particularly interested in. In a sense, it's exploring the multiplicity of self. And so what I attempted to do in that guided meditation was to give you access to, I think it was 4 different facets of self. One is kind of pure awake awareness, that spaciousness, that sense of spaciousness. The second was the experience of fullness, supported by joy. The third was the experience of deep, deep stillness. And then the fourth was passing through that stillness into this new place of clarity that is both spacious and full. And Sid, Patty, and I are quite familiar with Jeffrey Martin's map of awakening. And so on that map, for those of you who might know about it, that was locations 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm complete, Sid.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Guthrie. Can we all, I don't know how we clap on this. Can we do this? Everybody join me in thanking Guthrie. Wow. Wow. And now we're going to step out of this movie theater we're all in, and we're going to go out in the lobby, and we're going to go over to the next feature, the next movie. All right, everybody with me? And we're going to get our seats again. And you're going to want to put your seatbelts on for what we're about to step into. If can there really be more? Yes, there's more. And time-wise, we're just going to keep going for however long these movies go. And we were, for Ray and Maria, and please just come and go as you feel fit. And a little about my friend Ray. Ray is a Harvard-trained psychiatrist who initially began approaching non-duality through concurrent study of Mahamudra and IFS. Ray often speaks of all arising as the field of love or of our shared being. What does that mean for you? I think we'll get a taste of today, of our shared being. Sometimes Ray describes it as our shared nervous system. And Ray's work also includes psychedelic journeys, supporting people on these, and in tantric connection. And just to add a personal piece, that Ray and I spent an hour and a half together yesterday, where he was sharing about how self and parts relate in his system. And for Ray, it was just, I just was kind of speechless as he describes parts for him. Yeah, it's just as this condensation of self. He kept describing how that was appearing in his system. And lastly, about Ray, as we all know in our own journeys, there are times when there's real excitement, when there's an opening that's just kind of bursting like Patty's fireworks that she did in the background. And my experience is for the last 2 months, that's what's been happening with Ray. If he's in a group with me, all I want to do is be quiet and listen to what he has to say. Without further ado, our friend Ray.
Wow. I can relate to what you said, Guthrie, just feeling the love in the introduction. And yeah, once again, it's really good to see you, Guthrie. Yeah, Sid, thank you. Thank you so much. Sid's been a dear friend in this. And yeah, we've been yeah, spiritual friends we met through the Rupert Spira community. I am thinking about just the overall introduction of, hey, we don't know what we're going to say here, and I kind of feel like I'm in the same space. I don't know what I'm going to say, but what my not knowing what to say had a lot of nervousness with it. It's not like it's still gone, but it was almost obliterated by Guthrie's meditation. So much appreciation for you, Guthrie. I think one thing that has been touching me lately, I remember discussing with Sid, feeling like, he asked me at a beginning of a conversation, he's like, what's touched you? I said, something's happening. He said, what's touched you? And I felt like, oh, or what did you touch? He asked, and I said, I've been touched. I've been touched by love, and I feel really grateful for that. And it does seem like there is this shared field, this shared being that does want to touch all of us, and there's a desire to pull everyone and everything into that. So in that, I guess, to maybe just go and play with that experience a little bit. And thanks to Guthrie for introducing us to this field of play with one another. That's Sid's spirit. Sid is like a great spirit of play. I love it. As I'm thinking back, I don't know how to do that with my that's a magic trick that Patty has, and I think Sid has it too. What is oh my gosh, too much fun, too much fun. Meditation is serious, everyone. No more fun. But I'm just playing, come on. Wow, what I'm noticing here is just sitting with us, and we can all feel into this, just gazing at one another. And we might notice just what it feels like in our bodies. And notice as we notice what it feels like with ourselves, we might tune in and see, okay, there are parts here, there's a little discomfort in my shoulder, might be a part that feels some way about what happened before, might not be. We can just see if we can welcome what's in us. Even if there's judgment about what happens inside, we can welcome that. Just welcoming our internal system into this field, inviting it to rest. We might even be adventurous and welcome into it our concept of who we are. So in my sense, I'm welcoming Ray. The sense of Ray that has a history, has a story. And there might be parts that feel certain ways about Ray. Let me welcome those parts too. Let Ray and let those parts know, hey, we don't have to do anything right now. We're just gonna be. And we can stay here if we'd like. Or, okay, with Guthrie's cues, I love it. Notice what's inside of us. And then we can open our eyes slowly. Just notice, just like there was this being, Ray or yourself that was here. Notice that there are others here as well. See if we can welcome these beings that seem to appear in front of us into our space. We might even do that with eyes closed before eyes open. Totally fine. But as we're here with each other in this space, and this has been happening the whole time, can we notice how we have been affecting one another? Can we notice that gazing at others has an effect on our systems? It might even take a, somatic frame here, but our nervous systems are affecting one another. I'm going to say it affects different people in different ways. So first, let's just hold the intention as we look at one another, knowing that we're affecting one another through this viewpoint or through listening. And hold the intention to welcome each other. Hold the intention that we want every person we look at to feel truly welcome with us and to feel connected to the greatest of our ability. Just noticing as we welcome each other, what does that feel like? And there's no right way to feel, no wrong way to feel. So in this experience, one question I ask myself is that if we were truly disconnected beings, if we were truly separate beings, would we actually have an effect on one another like this? Our nervous systems, even if we look at it from a material standpoint, our nervous systems are built to affect one another. And when you expand it out there, and this is just a felt experience of a nervous system that is shared, our nervous system didn't come into this world by itself. It was affected. It came through other beings. And as soon as we came, we were with other beings this whole time. So there is this idea of a separate self that we can actually feel through right now. We can feel that, wait, this isn't a separate self. This is actually a nervous system that is collective. It's not individual. The field that Guthrie was talking about, that deep field of stillness, emptiness, the spatialness, all of those aspects are shared. The concept of being separate, of walking around and feeling like a separate being, like, can you imagine, like, right now, can you imagine right now, like, right now we're in this field, we're in this shared nervous system. Can you imagine shrinking away and like separating from that nervous system? Okay, right. So Patty gives a sense of what that might feel like, but it kind of, like, to me, when I really imagine and get into trying to do that, it's like it feels terrifying. And in connecting, it's like, in the sense of connection, it feels like, oh, there's more security. Like the parts in me that feel, the parts that feel contracted and burdened. Um, when there's a sense of shared nervous system, it's like, okay, now we can relax. Um, there seems to be conditioning in current modern society to believe that we exist separately. And where I take this, because it definitely feels like a somatic, like linking it. There's a shared field, which is non-dual. There's a somatic feeling of that, which for me in this experience feels like a shared nervous system. And it extends. We notice that we have this field with us, but we can instantly bring into our heart the people in our lives that we're connected to, the pets, and where I am, there are trees outside. Those trees are connected by mycelium. They're all, and it's like, oh, there is this whole connected web of being on this plane that has a lot of capacity, for the stuff that's going on in me. Like, if any of us presented with a problem or came up and had a complaint, can we all hold that? Can we all be with that? So in this shared being, there's a lot of capacity, and it can hold things in peace. It's not even going to bypass it. It's just going to hold it. It's going to be there with it and feel it. It's going to welcome it in. So I think that's one thing that I wanted to do and wanted to share, is to just bring an experience of shared being. And in this, with the shared being, notice there's non-separation, and the feeling of non-separation. If I were to describe or define, like, the feeling of love, that is the feeling of not being separate. And any way that you look at it, from a material lens, from a spiritual lens, there isn't separation. There's nothing that has ever existed in a vacuum separate from everything else. And if we can feel that sense of non-separation, that does open up into love, which through a number of fortunate experiences has touched me, and thankfully I've been able to tap into that with friends, and with friends here. I think for me that feels complete for now. And I'm also open to welcome any comments or any experiences that people have, and all experiences are welcome. I know this isn't the same for everyone, so.
Love and joy. Oh, sorry, Sabrina, you raised your hand up there. I just wanted to say how much love and joy was felt in this shared nervous system. Oh, and also incredible stillness and calm. That's what it all is. All of those things: peace, stillness, calm, emptiness, fullness, joy.
I don't have anything to add or take away from that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Patty.
I do want to offer my appreciation, Ray. You know, one of the things that I think IFS falls short of, coming from a culture that is not as individualistic as Western culture, you know, that I look at IFS and the loss of this understanding of usness and how important that is. Like that it's, yes, it's important to have relationship between self and parts, right? And to be in expansive beingness, and also, right, that as human beings, like in this incarnation, we desperately need each other, right? And the understanding that we belong to each other and that we are intended to co-regulate, right? That it's not just about self and parts, it's also about this usness. And I look at, you know, what's happening in, you know, the thing that grieves me in my own experience and in working with clients is, you know, the loneliness that we are currently facing in this culture. And that, yes, that is part of our getting stuck in parts and not being able to connect to beingness or isness, right? And it's also this horrible disconnection between the energetics between ourselves and the planet and the table and the tree and the soil, and also the understanding of our collective nervous system, right? That's how we are in this planet. So thank you so much for bringing that into the space today, because I think it's incredibly important. So much appreciation and love.
Sabrina, you took it a step deeper. And I want to comment because it's something that I've been thinking about a lot in IFS and trying to bridge IFS and non-duality. And in IFS, there's a process of unblending. You know, we unblend from parts. We see them there. We understand that, okay, those don't define us. We're not limited to them. It's not that we're completely separate from them and pushing them away, but they're welcome when we see them. And there is a possibility of a deeper unblending, because we can unblend from our parts, and maybe our clients or our friends can unblend from their parts. And the way, at least, that I've been experiencing correctly or incorrectly, IFS has been, oh, you know, I have myself, and the client has their self, and you have yourself, and Sid has his self. And there's a deeper level of blending possibly that happens in non-duality, which is, okay, we're going to unblend from this individual self called Ray or called Sid. And when that's unblended from, you can see that there's a greater space of which all of these are a part. And that there's effectively one unified system with a very complex personality. You can put it that way. And can begin to relate from a space of, okay, not being Ray or not being Sid or Guthrie, but from holding all of this. And there is a sense of just really deep, when that can happen, there's a sense of really deep compassion. We can feel one another. And I think in a lot of ways, we have forgotten to feel one another. And yeah, I'm grateful for what you brought. I think non-duality does add that sense of feeling, of being able to feel another as self, to feel another, relate to another as a part of this experience. And this is all one shared experience. I'm part of, you know, this is part of that experience as well. But to really feel the connection, I think is where non-duality comes in. And I think it is from a deeper unblending. It takes IFS and says, okay, we're going to unblend even further. Unblend from the individual self And, it might go even, it can go even deeper than that for, a lot of people. You're going to from time and space and, to the point where everything is unified. But yeah, it's very valuable to recognize how we can have a sense of separation that doesn't necessarily have to be where we live from.
I feel like there's this other sweetness around the non-duality of separation and non-separation. Like, in couples therapy, like if the clients are too blended, they don't really connect. There has to be a grounded I for there to be that juicy connection. So there's, for me, this duality of non-duality of the separate I and the non-separate I, and that it's actually coming into this sort of individuation, right? And the expansive individuation that actually creates the more connectivity. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the parts, the parts relating to one another, having roles, having expressions, and they might all be expressions of self. And I love that you brought in that duality because yeah, there can be a sense of self, shared self, and the pronoun for that might be we. Like I kind of think of like when I'm thinking about, okay, what is self really? It's more of a we than an I. But yeah, the eyes can arise within that and make up the we, and it actually enables the mechanism, just like in our own systems, our parts enable this collective whole to do what it needs to do and to express all it needs to express. And so there's value to self-expressing, as Sid said before, there are condensations of self called parts. And yeah, it's necessary for that to happen, for self to create what it needs, for the world to be what it is, for there to be creation. I am conscious of the time, so I do want to allow some space and yield the floor, and I'm excited to go to the next theater here. It's amazing what you created.
Laura, I was just about to point to you because some of you all. Well, just first, thank you. Gosh, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Everybody. This shared nervous system. Thank you. I'm a little drunk in this right now, and I'm a little drunk. Thank you so much. But as we transition towards the third feature, some of you all, this is being kind of hosted by the IFS Non-Dual Community Facebook group. And some of you are part of it, and some of you have kind of found your way through different invitations today. And Ray and Guthrie both mentioned my name a few times, and I'm the co-host of this group. And my co-host Laura has kind of stepped into the background, perhaps because for this one she kind of deferred to me to kind of put it together, and I took the lead on it. But I just want to give her a moment so you guys can meet her a little deeper before we go to our third feature, because when I reach the edge of what I can see and I get little glimpses of what might be next, literally the person in this universe that I reach out to is my friend Laura, to help me see for a preview of what's coming next.
Well, yeah, thank you, Sid. I felt to add that IFS, Dick has always been onto non-dual IFS. I want to point out that even in the first book that Dick has written in, I don't know, was it in 92 or 97? He points out self as a wave and self as a particle. So self as a particle is that kind of personal self that is actionable in the world through the 8 C's and the 5 P's. But self as a wave is a transpersonal self. This is, if the particle is like the wave seeing itself as separate from the ocean, that self as a wave, kind of joins and merges everything up. And that is the non-dual aspect. And quite a lot of people in the IFS world kind of don't really focus on that. They don't really give credit to the fact that Vic is had it all along, you know. He had it up his sleeve, hiding, but he knew, you know. So he's very, very much on it. And when Sid and I were having a look through all the books that Vic has written, in No Bad Parts, which is one of the most recent ones that he wrote, Vic quotes, I believe that there is a field of self. We can enter that field through meditation, for example, and become part of that field and lose our particleness. We become non-dual in the wave state. So I think I want to give credit to why Sid and I are doing this. It's because IFS is already non-dual. There's nothing new here. It's been kind of hidden in plain sight. So yeah, I just felt that was to kind of credit Dick, because he's the daddy of this. Yeah, thank you.
Are we ready for our third feature? As we enter the third theater. And I just want to share that if you're on our site, you'll notice that lots of people are sharing, and then there's one of our group members who's kind of become our most prolific group member, and that is my friend Maria. And she goes by Mapia on the Facebook group. That's her username, but you'll see it, and that's where it was kind of a no-brainer for this first group, like who to invite, because I didn't know Maria, but post after post, people are sharing things, and she takes them to such a beautiful place in coming from this non-dual heart of hers. And it was just like, who is this woman? I want to meet her and see who she is. And so this is her kind of debut for me and Laura, and we've just spoken briefly on the phone, and let me just share the little bio that we have on her as well. But it's really the heart that she's already offered our community that I am so grateful for. Maria is a psychotherapist who loves people. She is here to mirror your wholesomeness and inner peace. She offers a presence-centered space where the fullness of what is can be revealed. Through your shadows, the light is seen. She points to unity, love, fun, awe, and the depth of your inner wizard. Maria.
Oh, hi, Sid. Hi, everybody. Hello. I am drunk with you, Sid. All words have left me. I feel blissed out. And where do I start? I want to give back the gems of wisdom, a couple of words that touched me. I feel really touched from the sharings of Ray and Guthrie. And Sabrina, you said something about the isness and the usness, and it's just a letter difference, really. And that links with what was just shared now, that truth is hidden in plain sight, hidden in all the language, IFS being here as a non-dual place all along. I'm not coming from an IFS background, so I'm a bit of I'm coming from a different entry route. My journey started with self-inquiry, and a bit like you, Ray, I have no idea what I'm gonna say, and I was a little nervous yesterday when I shared with Sid and Laura. However, that nervousness is celebrated because it's part of our humanness, and how the journey is unfolding here is what was shared already, expanding more and more the human vessel. that actually, and I feel called to, if you're not already blissed out and meditated out, if you feel you need to move for this last bit, to touch on that, on the heart space, because there's so much love in this gathering, there's so much presence, and there's so much giving, and I can only offer a bit of that, a bit of the human in the universal heart, if that's okay. Yeah, but portals were mentioned, and I think it was Laura quoting in the book about the portals being meditation, and my portal has been being a mom. I'm a very busy mom, I have 3 children. There is different other portals. There may be sound, there may be dance. So I want first of all to touch base with you by calling your name out loud, and as my way to sort of bridge the illusionary separation that the screen is here between us, and then we can go somewhere together. And I want to acknowledge Seed. I'm starting from the left to the right, and forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. I said with a lot of love. Rahila, Brigitte, Ray. Hi, Patty. And Abby. And Anna. And Guthrie. And Kidan. Dave. Sabrina. Kati. Pamela. Hope you're with us. It's okay if you want to have your camera on or off for this, but I want to acknowledge you in the space. Laura. Princess Shukrananda. What a beautiful melodic name. George and Dean and Brandon and Debbie and Philip. So for this meditation, you can have your eyes open or closed. And disclaimer, there's nothing to do, but perhaps rather undo. And just find your body. Begin by finding your body, your precious body. Find your feet as they're kissing the ground, the soles of your feet. You've been supported and held all the way in every step you've taken in your life. Notice that ground holding you. And notice the surface that's supporting your upper body. You might want to stretch your back in a kind of an alert posture, inviting a kind of alertness but also softness. For the next maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know how long it will last, but I'll give you a time reminder towards the end. There's nothing to do. Just simply tuning into your bodily existence, your beingness. Notice your heart space in your chest, that heart of yours, that loving heart. And tune into the sound that it's making in your chest. This is your life's drum beating, keeping you alive, sustaining you. in each inhale and each exhale. It doesn't ask anything back. It doesn't have agendas. It's unconditionally, forever here. In every inhale and every exhale. And allow the nectar of your inner heart to anoint you from the inside out. To anoint each part of your body. Be here. And this space is effortless. There's nothing to do. There's no expectations of you. And everything is welcome. Be it joy, be it grief. Our heart is the place we carry everything. Our fears, our shames, our pains, our tears, our joy. Your heart space is the space from which you let all experience be for what is. You let without letting, because this is not a doing. It's an effortless being. And notice how your breath in harmony, your whole body is working in harmony to transfer this loving presence and extend it beyond the bodily form expressed as you, this consciousness, this universal heart expressed as your own unique heart. And notice how it's welcoming everything that's arising. If there's any thoughts that come in, notice how it knows and it's aware of all sensations. It knows every feeling, every sound, every taste, every touch. Where is this knower? Can you find him or her? As you're allowing your body and all its sensations to really dance the cosmic dance, notice and inquire who is the knower of them. Does that knower have a boundary? Does it have a form? Or is it the cosmic playground in which all parts of ourselves play? In laughter, in tears, it's all seen for what is. Let yourself rest in the embrace of that universal heart, letting your precious human heart bask in this ocean of love an unconditional presence. Like the Divine Mother embracing her children. And as we're slowly moving towards the end, bring somebody from this group in your mind's eye, a name that maybe just popped. Imagining that gorgeous nervous system waving and reaching out, as Ray described, connecting to one another. And inquire again deeply, who is the one that knows of this connection? And notice how the mind is also here to create that mental connection. But even that connection is known and witnessed from that spacious, non-separate place. There's nothing to do in this place, it's simply connecting and being and resting. And you're shifting your attention again onto your feet on the ground, the sit you're sat on, the sound of my voice. Taking an anchoring breath before you open your eyes in that space, before you return. To the now that you've never left. There's an apparent return happening, and yet you always have been here as this heart, as this love. When you're ready. There was a lot of playground noise of my children outside. I apologize if that was part of the cosmic play. What can I say? I hope that wasn't distracting you.
Is there anyone who would like to share of your experience so far with Maria?
Was it Brigitte? Oh, yeah.
That was utterly beautiful for me. Thank you so much. I have recently been diagnosed with chronic fatigue, and I've gone to working part-time. And unfortunately, a mantra in my head has been, there's so much to do. and indeed I cannot. I'm like physically incapable of doing everything I want to do. And you saying, there's nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my goodness, so beautiful. You know, and then all the religious, archetypes, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, like just, the all embracing. Thank you.
Your soul knows the truth, Brigitte. It just happened. Be a reminder, a mirror of what you know already.
Yeah. Well, yes, indeed. But for me, that was beautiful. I mean, also alternating the mantra of there's so much to do is don't try so hard. And don't push yourself. So I've had, kind of that tension of both.
And breathing in that effortlessness. Yes, giving yourself permission to just be.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, so be here now is, very much a part of that as well. But I just want to thank you. That was lovely, lovely.
Yeah. Thanks, Bridget. Thank you. There's no need or expectation or anything to say, really. It's just Anna.
Hi, everybody. Well, it's my first time. I'm kind of quite new to this community, and I don't want so much to refer to just specifically Maria's offering, but just everybody in this session.
Sure.
And I'm just so happy to be here. The story I can share is that I've been on the Advaita path for many, many, many years, but for a long time, it felt very intellectual, like I couldn't go past from the intellectual level to the realness of it.
Yeah.
And it's only recently that I've felt that my intellectual knowledge is suddenly becoming real. Like, I actually even moved away from Advaita for a while because I felt, okay, I understand all of this, but what do I do with it, It doesn't seem to filter down into my life. And recently, throughout this year, it did become to filter, sit down into reality and beingness. And this session here today is just pure demonstration, or let's say proof, that I've actually not only started to feel it experientially as my being, but that there is a community where this can take place. Because today it felt like all of the sharings from Ray, from Guthrie, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, Guthrie, sorry, and Maria and everybody else felt like it was all about being, not so much intellectual, but the opposite. And that's just so priceless and so wonderful. And I am so excited for this new time in my life where finally, after so many years, it isn't just words.
Yeah.
And it's just like this massive field has opened up for me. And I really felt everything that was offered here today, the connection, the love, the stillness.
Yeah.
So it's been like a really wonderful gift. And I am very grateful and look forward to whatever comes next. We'll see. But look forward to being actually not only on my own. I have found this new realization, to call it something, but that there are a lot of people and there are communities where it can be shared and where you can make connections, and that it isn't just me on my own at home, that it's actually even possible to, well, as Ray specifically, well, all of you really pointed to, we're just one and we can actually connect on this level of being. And it's really beautiful. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Yes. The beauty of the one organism.
Maria, as you are our finale today of the triple feature, anything you'd like to share to kind of close your movie or maybe bring it all together, and then I'll hand it over to Laura to do our final closure for the day.
What would you like me to share, Sid?
It's just if there was anything else from I just, you bubble with so much beauty in this, and if there's anything else that's there, I just wanted to support you in this.
To me, it feels so clear. This is life gifting itself back through the expression of each one of us, and the uniqueness in each of our expression is what Ray said earlier. There's a joy. I resonate with that. There's a joy in sharing this beauty that we are. And it's like we've been playing hide and seek all along. To ourselves. That's part of the cosmic dance, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Nothing else. Silence is the mother of all. I just want to say thank you for inviting me. I feel very honored and very humbled. Thank you. And yeah, I really enjoyed today. The play. Literally, the play. There's no separation. See, it's everywhere. There's really no separation.
Will you join me in appreciating and thanking Maria?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Letting it all in.
And what do they call it? Tag to Laura.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for this shared being, this beautiful time that we all spent. And the greatest teacher is yourself, self with a capital S.
Yeah.
We project so much of our happiness out onto the world, onto spiritual gurus, spiritual leaders, people in position of power. But actually, this is what I love about IFS. It hands it right back to you and says, this isn't about me, this is about you. And of course, we're all that one you or that one me. So my advice would be to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Who's looking at you is the one. If there's any gurus on your bedside table, put a picture of yourself there, because
yeah,
that's who's got your back. Oh, it's so lovely, Sid. Sid and I never know, do we, how these things will work. So try to go with that cosmic flow.
Yeah.
And there's a trust and a knowing there, isn't there, Sid? So just see if you can scoop this up and really park it in the crevices of the heart. Letting the nectar flow ever deeper, like a lovely river. And of course, all rivers join to an ocean. Okay. To you, lovely Sid, just the final few words.
Final few words. Gee, just such gratitude for Ray, Guthrie, and Maria. Such gratitude for what was created here by the three of you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for your generosity to come and give yourself so fully to this exploration of and to be able to for us to be able to spotlight you as because we have like 1,200 members, and the idea is that it doesn't need to look like Lock Kelly or Dick or Rupert Spira or Muji. What this looks like, that it looks like each of us, just the way it expresses in each of us. And thank you for inspiring us with how it is, the magnificence of how it moves through you. Thank you. That's all I got, Laura.
That's perfect. That's plenty.
That's perfect.
I feel satiated and ready to carry on. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you can carry on this lovely dance of self. And hopefully we'll see you next time, whenever that is.
Oh, thank you, everybody.